about that. You're on the wrong side of law.
It's
You're gonna
catchy.
you're gonna call it a police takeover because you don't like that the orange man is doing it.
Trump police takeover, Monty just has a nice ring to it.
Hey,
Obama
how
did.
Well,
about
you remember my thoughts on the matter, right? Is that I think that the police and the military should be basically the same thing, like interchangeable,
ooh?
but
I
in a much more nuanced way.
how explain that because I think I disagree with it, but
So,
I want to hear what
so
you're
like,
saying.
like a almost military service is required to be a policeman. Not only that, but a military service plus, and this is my opinion, some sort of a psychology or sociology degree, 4 year, not two.
A law
Hmm.
degree.
And that's my personal opinion. And once you do that, I have like a literal streamline from, hey, these are military personnel that retired out of the military after about, say, 4 years or whatever, 4, 6 years, 8 years. Uh, and now they're going into the police force. I think that would be a great way to have people who are not only well trained in like combat situations, so they're a little bit more, what
Situationally
is it
aware.
called? Yeah, but also someone who this is goes with psychology degree, who are a little bit more humanist about it, right? So whenever they walk up, their immediate thought isn't, "Oh, they're going to shoot me." It is a thought that goes through their mind, but it's not like the preeminent thought, and that is where I think a lot of times these violent things that happen with police, it's not necessarily about race or whatever it is that some people believe it to be. I think it's more just these initial reactions and people being scared in the moment. And if we have like a kind of a funnel between like the military, like upper military personnel, I'm not saying
Yeah.
like every enlisted soldier, but like people who have actually gone, say, ROTC programs, right? They have ROTC, and you can go into college via that. And I would say that
Hmm.
like people are going for psychology degrees or sociology degrees, then they go and become a policeman, and obviously having a degree, a higher salary.
So hold on, hold on.
So
Basically, we're looking at policemen with better social skills.
here's
According
my issue with that. Right. Let me stop that right there. So you just argued for at least 4 years in the military, and then you said not you want higher ranking people. Most people that do 4 years in the military and get out are not much higher than an E4. First of all, and then second of all, the military actually is the worst to draw from in order as far as shooting first and asking questions later because they're trained that everything is a threat until proven otherwise.
See, and this is what the second part of that is more aimed at,
Hmm.
right? So not only someone who is trained in these highly tense situations, but also someone who knows that every situation isn't these highly tense situations and can distinguish each one from each one. And I'm not saying, and so I think you kind of harped a little bit on the higher ranking. I meant more like just there is a vetting system between the two.
Hmm. So
Like that was more of what I
what
was
I would
talking about.
what I would say to that is what sucks for the criminal that's being aggressive that doesn't have a weapon and poses no threat to law enforcement is there's five other criminals right behind him that have a knife within 21 feet that have a gun that aren't that conceal it, and these officers do go home or don't go home. And so it's not necessarily a I'm scared of the situation. It's I don't want to not go home tonight.
I think the majority of the situations in which it is police shootings, right? Not
Yeah.
necessarily police being shot, but the police shootings is more of what I'm saying. Someone scared in a moment. Like you can search the internet far and wide, and you're going to find video after video after video of like brief interactions that turn into police shootings,
okay,
right?
but
And
you
I'm not saying that like every single one is the same, or like we should treat all criminals with respect and honor and never try to pull our weapons out at them. Or I'm not saying any of that shit. Like that's
Right.
dumb, right? What I'm saying is like be able to be trained to be more nuanced in a situation that requires nuance.
So most of these situations that you're talking about happen in less than 5 seconds.
All right,
Also,
two
I do
minutes, guys.
believe
2 minutes.
that the majority of our, I believe the majority of our traffic tickets should be regulated by like a camera system. I totally believe in the idea of like the what the fuck is it called that Britain has, where it's like cameras everywhere.
A
What is
police
it called?
state?
No, it's
Okay.
not a police state. Britain's not a police state. I'm talking about the CCP. There it is. Uh, like I believe in that. I think that's a great idea.
The
Fucking use
Chinese
that for
Communist
every
Party?
traffic light, so we can get police off of regulating traffic tickets and on some like real actual crimes happening.
Bro, I've been trying to say something, but I can't say it. My turn. I have the right on my webpage on my computer, Texas police officer requirements. In order to be a police officer, first you must be a U.S. citizen by birth or naturalization at the time of application, be 21 years of age, 18 years old with an associate's degree or honorable military discharge, be a high school graduate or hold a high school equivalency certificate or show proof of an honorable discharge from the U.S. Armed Forces, at least 24 months of active duty service. And so, but to become an officer, an actual officer rather than just a beat cop, you have to have a at minimum an associate's degree, which one of the prerequisites of that is psychology.
All right.
Yeah,
Now,
and you do remember I said bachelor's, not associates, right? In my argument.
Oh, okay.
Before you're not a two-year. I mean, we're getting into
all right, time on the argument. Time on this one. Let's get right back to the video, guys. We go too far.
And DEA agents, some wearing masks, bulletproof vests, seen patrolling the streets of Washington, D.C.'s Georgetown neighborhood. And that Trump move is coming all really into clearer focus. Just as it is becoming into clearer focus, it's also raising new questions of which city is next. So first to D.C., the National Guard, we're seeing...
not to distract from the video, but going off of what you just said, I think like 90% of the FBI, you do have to have a bachelor's degree, and you do have to have psychology. You do have to have all of this. So honestly, the FBI doing it, they're much more equipped psychologically and professionally to deal with the crime than say your average beat cop. So they're by your definitions and what you said, they're honestly the better agency to do it.
Yeah,
As
them
well,
and the CIA.
Guard, who is designed specifically for this.
Yeah.
And all right, let's keep it going. Hold up. Shout out to my man Hellbat. He says about those cameras, they are constantly covered up and painted over because the people hate it that much. Imagine people doing that under CCP. Now, all of us. Now, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, Parabolic. That was a wild little idea you had. I hear where you were going with it, but I'm like, God damn, surveillance state?
Hell no.
I mean, so there's part of me,
Mainly for traffic crime, by the way.
yeah, there's part of me that
I don't trust
agrees
the
with that.
government to keep it for that. I don't know, Parabolic. Maybe if you were looking over it, I trust it, but the government,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know about that.
In Arizona, we had traffic cameras, but we got to vote on it and we voted no, and they took them all down.
Safety for liberty. Nope.
No.
Yep, security for liberty. Exactly. So there's part of me, like I was going to say, there's part of me that agrees with that and says, that would be a real easy solution. But part of it goes back to what Ben Franklin said. Those who give up, security for freedom deserve neither, right? Because you're giving up your autonomy, you're giving up your privacy, you're giving up everything that makes you an individual so that you can feel safe when anybody can take that information and that data and use it for ways that were not intended. And now it's there.
Listen,
Now you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
I understand your point, guys, but I'm not talking about specifically for like everywhere all the time. I'm talking about regulating traffic enforcement so that the police can be on real crimes. That's my real point about it.
Did studies on it, and they found out that people acted more erratic near those cameras, causing more accidents. So safety first.
So here's another thing too, though, right? So you're not necessarily going to get rid of the traffic cops. All you're going to do is diminish the police presence in that area and put them all behind desks, because you still need an officer of the law to review that footage and issue the ticket. So now you've taken a police car that could respond to an accident in, say, 5
I
minutes,
have
10
response,
minutes.
but I won't take it right now. I'll let Seth get
Sorry.
back to his video.
All right, guys. Now we're gonna go back in time to when me and Monty had our AI debate.
Uh-oh.
Just to be a dick and say I somewhat told you so. Somewhat, because you might still have some arguments for this. Actually, I believe you will.
We're going to turn now to youth unemployment, underemployment. Let's go and put this up there on the screen. Very closely watched numbers, relying on the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So let's hope that they're right. But even according to the revisions, you can see here this chart. Quote, is a generational jobs crisis brewing? The underemployment rate for young adults in America is up sharply. So if you look after 2010, after the Great Recession, this is the story of like that lost generation, which really got screwed. Underemployment was up some 30% at one point in 2010. Basically, it all stayed high all the way to 2015 when the jobs market started becoming a little bit better. It started to trend down very nicely back to 2000 levels until the COVID pandemic of 2020, massive spike after that, actually even surpassing 2010. It came back down during the whole like tight labor market era of 2021, but you're watching how very quickly, just in the last couple of years, it's ticked up. And now it's actually back to levels around 2009 before that massive explosion.
I mean, shout out Trump. Oh, I guess that's a shout out Trump moment. I'll give him that one.
In 2010. It's something very closely to watch. You got to ask, like, why? What exactly is happening? And I think there's a lot of reasons for it. Number one is AI. This is at the high levels of the job market. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Number two is
at the low levels of job.
So we're talking about kids. Kids are not at the high levels of the job market, for one. Continue.
Yeah, because now, yeah, you're right. Because the argument is youth unemployment skyrocket as AI take jobs. But let's hear more.
Well, yeah, it's funny. It's both at the low and high. More what I meant is it's impacting college graduates for entry level work.
So you're not talking about entry level.
Well, college graduates for entry level work.
That's not a thing. That's an oxymoron. By definition, if you're a college graduate, you're not in entry level work. Entry level work is no requirements needed.
Well, hold on now. You can be entry level like as a tech guy.
No. At that point, we call it entry level work so that we can pay people less, but it is not entry. By definition, if you are a bachelor level holding, you are not entry level. You are you're more of the professional / expert level in whatever it is you're doing. You just don't have experience doing it.
Well, let me tell you something, Craig. Like, think about it like this. Instead of hiring a coder, I could literally ask ChatGPT to make me let's say, national polling app. Let's say I want to make my own polling app, which I'm actually going to try to do. But besides that, let's say I want to do that. Instead of hiring and spending, I don't know, maybe like a $70,000 a year at most, I can just pay whatever the yearly subscription is on ChatGPT and get it done.
Exactly. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, but what about, the entry level coder that could have got that job? That's where, the AI kind of.
Here's the thing. Would you like to pay me $1,000 to clean your floors if someone can also do it for $500?
I mean, good point. No, I hear your point. But
that's how the economy works. You have to adapt to the economy that you're in.
But like I said, that
Hold
does
on,
feed
Monty,
into
just right quick. Entry level only assumes no experience. It doesn't mean no knowledge in the field, right? So like entry level can be someone who is college graduated. Say, take for instance, someone who does the unpaid intern work. That is still an entry level job. Even though
right now.
9 times out of 10, an intern is like a college grad. About 9 times out of 10.
So entry level when I hear entry level, I think of no no experience and or education needed to fill the role.
No,
If
it's
you
solely no experience needed. That is solely the definition, is no experience in the field.
Mhm. That's why I
like
say
for
they're
example,
like
like
tech jobs that are like that.
an entry level firefighter, for example, is basically a high school graduate that's over 18 years old, has not gone to a fire academy. A lateral firefighter, for example, is someone that has gone through the fire academy and has the certs behind them.
Yeah, but an entry level fashion designer is probably actually just an intern grabbing coffee, which is still an entry level position.
I mean, it's so. But what we're being led to believe, right, is that all of these young kids don't have a job because of AI. That's the narrative, right?
Yeah.
And
Maybe
they
in part because of some slightly less skilled roles. I kind of agree with you on that.
So you mean people
so
that sit in front of a keyboard?
sorry, what?
So you mean people that sit in front of a keyboard?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
AI is taking the jobs, and when I hear this, I think, oh, Burger King is just inundated with AI, and there's no kids working at Burger King. That's an entry level job, right? You're entering into the workforce or the talent force or the labor market with no skills, and your job is being taken. And they're predicating it on AI, which, in my experience, I haven't seen AI taking my order at Burger King. I have seen it at Wendy's. It's actually kind of cool. But that so the narrative, what they're actually saying and what they're trying to lead people to believe are two different things.
I think it's around the same, and here's my reasoning is because you have to think about like take for instance Hollywood. Whenever they're doing a major budget picture, they're going to hire some graphic artist for like all these different touch ups and stuff.
Yeah.
And in the final picture, they may not want to bring back the same graphic artist for like thousands and thousands of dollars just for a little bit of touch up, and may use AI instead of an entry level person who would have cost even less. Right. And so that I think is, and I'm not saying that this is a guaranteed thing, but I think that's where they're trying to get at is like there are jobs that are normally filled by these like entry level people so they can gain experience, so they can become a more experienced person in the field
Mhm.
that are being taken by AI.
I mean, I think anything you can do to lower the cost of goods sold, the cost of production, is a good thing. If that means that you lose some experience, then that just means that you have to work as an unpaid intern longer and do X, Y, and Z and get experience. Like I'm going through it right now. I'm a paramedic intern. I am not getting paid, but yet I'm doing work for the hospital, for the agencies that I'm going to be interning with, in order to gain the experience that I otherwise would not be able to gain. So I would not consider myself entry level anymore after I
But
have that
the
experience.
industry would.
I come from a completely different world. I had started learning how to work on watches at 9 years old, cars at 9 years old, and build houses
Mm-hmm.
at 20 years old. I've always gotten jobs based on my skill.
Yeah.
And all right, guys, let's go ahead and keep on going with the video.
They spent a lot of money on their education. They were probably going to be higher earners. But there's a big question, too, at the lower levels as to why that's not happening for the non-college graduate, people who are in trades or in others. Remember, in 2021, they had a major explosion. But problem we've seen right now is with the unemployment figures and others, we're seeing like a softening of underemployment for a lot of those people as well. And so when you combine it together, you kind of have potentially another lost generation post-COVID, where just like in 2010, the elder millennials in particular, those who graduated in 09, I mean, they were just destroyed. There's no even talk, like it's difficult to describe what it was like for a lot of those people. We're not there yet, but there are very troubling signs. And I think it goes to the shakiness of the overall labor market, especially for young people.
Well, yeah, no, and I think that's a good point. And it also speaks to how much longer. So to some extent, if we look at the uncertainty that Trump says is strategically meant to show the United States has leverage, at a certain point, the uncertainty, the weight of the uncertainty on the economy starts to become, even by his own explanation. So if we're taking him at face value and saying, and I agree with that, I do think the uncertainty creates some leverage to a point.
No, for sure.
But then the weight on the economy becomes so significant that it has effects, like on unemployment for people who are coming out of college. That you have to look at it and say, even by what your argument is here, that you're bringing jobs back, at a certain point, when does the bleeding stop? At a certain point, what is you letting the blood just seep into the economy not worth what you're talking about anymore? At what point is a net cost by your
So here's the issue that I have with this too. They're lumping all college graduates into this field, and they're looking for an excuse to pardon the college graduate that got a degree in nothing that's worth anything too. So
There's a lot.
There's a lot of degrees out there that were literally just scams and money grabs, and they everybody was pushed into, oh, everybody has to go to college. Now we're seeing the effects of that. Just because you have a college degree doesn't mean you're worth shit.
And also, you're seeing the culture that changed by COVID, that's affected by COVID. You're seeing a softer mentality. These people have not been in hard social situations and learned from it. They're not these grassroots people who worked hard all their life, or been around people who worked hard all their life, and they're refusing to take these jobs that expect them to work hard.
I think the field that probably
running from it.
I think the field has probably experienced the most harm currently with AI, and this is something I think they should talk more about. Is specifically the fields that are being harmed by this are your what is it called, multimedia artist, right? Like your cartoonist and your graphic artist, and mainly art is the field that's being hit the most. Writing some as well, but for right now it's mainly art, and that is something we do need to address. Right, that is a real, actual problem. People are going to school to, be an artist because they saw, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse whenever they're a kid, and whenever they get out, AI will have their job.
Facts.
I mean, here's the thing. I get the sentiment behind that, but unfortunately, I do not put a whole lot of weight on arts and entertainment as much as I do for things that actually contribute to the economy. Like, just because it creates an economy doesn't mean it contributes to the good of people.
I was about to say it definitely contributes to the economy. You look at every single major blockbuster coming out of Hollywood,
money moves hands. Yes,
and it gets money from China, from Korea, from freaking Russia, Japan, all over the world. Whenever the Hollywood producers make these big budget films, and
right, but that doesn't
screwing the little guy that are working on it is hurting the industry. It will.
I don't see how it'll hurt the industry because the product will be the same. The cost will just be lower.
All right, guys. Now let's continue with Laura. Let's see what else points that they want to make. But as of now, though,
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. I can see it. I feel it. I can. He's cooking.
Argument.
Totally. And this was actually really driven home at the technological level, and especially with the general breaking of the American dream by this story. It's an amazing story. It's been gone viral for a number of reasons. Let's put B2 up here on the screen. And the headline here is, quote, "Goodbye $165,000 tech jobs. Student coders seek work at Chipotle." Quote, "As companies like Amazon and Microsoft lay off workers and embrace AI coding tools, computer science graduates say they are struggling to land tech jobs." I would add H-1B into this, by the way, because we talked previously, we did a segment here on the show about how Microsoft fired a bunch of workers and then applied for a bunch of H-1B visas. But the point is basically this pursuit of cheap labor, AI, and then also just a general softening of the overall market means that people like this woman who they profile here in the story are really getting screwed. So, they lead off by basically talking about how this woman, Mansai Mishra, she is 21 years old. She grew up in California, graduated from Purdue with a degree in computer science, basically did everything right, but Quote, after a year of job hunting for tech jobs and internships, she graduated in May without any job offer. The only company that even called me for an interview, she said, was Chipotle. Since the early 2010s, they've talked about kind of the booms of how it was so awesome in 2014, 2015 to go work at Google and Facebook with all this free stuff and healthcares, etc. But a lot of these AI programming tools basically have eliminated all of the original scut work that people like this were put into the pipeline for. And I'm not denigrating it because scut work is important. I did a lot of scut work after I graduated.
Just right quick,
that's
Seth,
what you did,
if you don't mind.
because you do.
Yep.
I just wanted to say something is really funny about that. Like something like it's not like funny in like the ha but like funny in the ironic way that they're talking about coders who are the very people who created AI being put out of the job by AI.
Yeah.
There's something ironic about that, and I can't help but think that is ironically funny.
What's funny to me is the Republicans and the blue collar industry in general have been saying, "Oh, go to trade school, go learn a valuable skill." They're not worried about electricians being put out of a job. They're not worried about plumbers being put out of a job.
Actually, they try to actively close the trade schools.
I got about 50 years before they start coming for my job. Hopefully.
Man.
Yeah, long time before.
Hold on. Like psychology. I mean, look at what Grok is trying to do.
No, I 100% agree. I just don't think any of it has worked well. Like,
be careful.
I think AI is too
I guarantee you these coders thought the same thing.
Right. So like if we get AGI, I'm totally out of the job. 100% guaranteed. There's no way I keep my job. But as long as it's just AI, I don't know, man.
If we get to AGI, most people that use their brain to work are out of a job.
Yeah, well, I mean, isn't at that point pretty much the singularity?
Yeah, that's when you don't need jobs anymore. That's when my fucking theoretical utopia takes hold.
Yeah. See, Monty's actually a communist. He just doesn't like that the government would be running it. See, he's actually a communist.
No, I do not. I as long as there is scarcity in the world, I'm a capitalist. The second there is no longer scarcity, then I become socialist. So until you can present something to me that gets rid of scarcity,
that's the only argument for socialism I ever agreed with.
The systematic weeding of greedy people in the world, or de-weeding of greedy people in the world. Now, granted, that is a wild ass take, and I won't even say that I condone it. I'm just saying that like that. I think that would be the only real way, because then even greedy people who would be born into this kind of non-greedy world would be forced. They would be forced to not be greedy because they don't have anything to be greedy about. But again, that is a wild take to be saying, "Oh, let's go kill all the greedy people."
Yeah, but we already
No, I didn't say kill all the greedy people. I said no. As long as there is scarcity.
No, that's what I said. That's what I said. I said that's the only way that works is if we kill all the greedy people, and that is a wild take that I won't even condone.
That's not something that would stay because there are some things that are evolutionary and genetic, and diversity is one of those things. And I think we've already heard this story of having a perfect utopia, and then Eve ate the apple.
Yep. So I'm not saying that there's not going to be problems in the world. I say utopia because that's what everybody mocks me when I talk about this. They're like, "Oh, it's some perfect utopia." No, it's not. There's still competition in the world because humans are naturally competitive and social creatures. I'm just saying
I'm not
it's going to be
one-to-one, but we did it with mice.
We did what?
We created a utopia with mice.
Yeah. So, but mice don't really care about all of the things we care about. There's a lot more variables in humans.
I think that there's a lot of similarities that that people who don't work with lab rats do not really realize. There's a lot of similarities, like functionally in the brain.
But you see what I'm saying, though, right? Like when there is scarcity in the world, I think the best system to combat and make it at least fair is capitalism. Now, when there is no scarcity, then you need to stop being fucking a glutton, and because there's nothing to be greedy about, right? So that's the only world in which I can see a socialistic world working. So no, I'm not a socialist because we don't live in that world
Nor can we.
yet.
All righty, let's get right back to it.
So that you're around. You do these basic menial tasks while you learn bigger skills, and you get promoted up into the company. But at the beginning, they're like, well, we have everybody who has all the higher level skills already. We don't need to put any more people into the pipeline or pay them. We can just use our AI tools to basically eliminate 10 to 15%, of our payroll. And that's basically what's happening. They even point actually to a survey more recently. State schools, Maryland, Texas, Washington, these are decent colleges, as well as private universities, Cornell and Stanford. Many tech graduates, computer science graduates, said that they had applied to hundreds and in several cases, thousands of tech jobs at companies, nonprofits, and at government agencies. All of them were given coding assignments, many of these other things. Even with these month-long jobs quests, the vast majority of them, they either ended up ghosted, they didn't end up being hired. I actually did warn about this a few months ago after Liberation Day in April, because I had heard for a lot of those people who were graduating in May, that people were pulling their offers. This is like, sorry, we can't do it. The stock market is down. We can't make any major commitments. Now the summer is coming to an end. People are about to start going back to school in the next month or two. And if you think like that's devastating, for people who graduated, they even say here that one individual who graduated in 2023 had applied for 5,762 tech jobs. Diligence resulted in 13 job interviews and no full-time offers. I mean, that is devastating.
I can see that why it is devastating. Because, like, guys, all right, guys, if you have an app idea, type it into ChatGPT, the new one, the 5.
Yep.
Yes, bro, it's gonna put everything out that you need. Like, you're damn near gonna feel ready to pitch your idea to an app developer at a certain point.
I've already talked about this. Like, I have just for shits and giggles used Grok 3, even at Grok 3, and we all know how fucking shitty that was. I was able to create baseline backend code for a couple of different ideas, and these weren't like small ideas. This was like integrating all of healthcare together. And all I say is, use a software example like ESO and make it talk to a software like Epic. If you know anything about hospitals or EMS, Epic is like the biggest electronic health records company, and ESO is the same thing for ambulances. And make it one system, make it talk, make it so that all of these things, make it so that you have inventory tracking, make it so you have all this fun shit. And I can literally just fucking come up with an idea, and it's like, okay, here's the parameters for that. It's like I don't need a tech company. If I really wanted to dedicate 5 years of my life to this project, I could make it perfect.
And here's the thing: like AI will keep giving you more suggestions that you could read through. You could tell. It's like it gets bad to the point where it's like, yeah, what do I need a coder for? What do I need a UI X designer? Like, what do I need it for?
Yeah, and that's the next thing
that makes apps.
What? That's AI.
Literally, that's AI.
No, I want them to make me an app that makes apps. That's literally
that makes me that I could sell for billions of dollars.
That's AI.
Hey, look up MIT AI2 is one of the apps. There's this other one I want to look up called Base 44. I want to try that out.
Shoot, but if you want your introduction into AI, I would say, what was it? The top ones: ChatGPT, Perplexity, Copilot,
OpenArt.
OpenArt. Okay.
OpenArt.ai is a really good one.
This is your chance to plug your sponsor.
And I know, right? I was just about to do that. I was about to have to do you guys grimy because and today modern AI is quite advanced, except 2 problems. It is censored and it takes your information. Well, it's hard to find a tech company that don't. But let me. Okay, I'm not even about to do that to y'all for real. I was just
you need to redo your ad read. Your ad read could be so much better.
I know, man. I definitely do need to redo it. It's been a while, but I'm waiting to work things out.
I don't
with
know. It's
Venice
got
AI.
personality to it, man. Like you like fumble a few words in there, and it like lets me know that you're
It
a real
makes
person.
it does make it genuine. Yeah, it's not like Mr.
Yeah,
Beast reading the ad read for what was it? That was
yeah.
honey.
You can literally see where the thing's cut because he messed up a line.
Yeah.
Use AI to polish it.
Put it in another AI software to polish it and make it an ad read for an AI.
Man. Nah, we'll give AI this. No, it is getting bad out here because even in the YouTube creator field, like where I was like, what, trying to find thumbnail guys. Well, Microsoft Copilot done did everything.
Hell, there's even in coding apps. There's AI software that'll write the code for you if you kind of know what you're doing and make a mistake, it'll fix it for you. So there's fucking autocorrect in the coding software now.
Like, to be honest, guys, you could apply for a coding job right now and just have ChatGPT in your pocket. $20 a month.
But then we also have the MIT App Inventor 2 app, and you use block coding. So you just drag and click blocks. But Base 44 will actually be like a screen, the screen of your whatever your device is, and you just drag and drop stuff onto it. And then
I learned Java from an Indian guy on YouTube.
I would say this: the thing about AI, you still need creativity. Still need to have
the idea. Yeah,
the idea still got to be there.
Yeah, it still takes to think that up.
I learned basic coding from Code Academy back in like 2010.
Bruh.
There's a point I want to bring up also. This AI push and tech push has caused many of the trade schools to suffer drastically right now. They're having trouble backfilling the classrooms just to teach them right now because they don't have enough students for trades. So we have a big vacuum of workers that is going to be a real big problem here shortly.
Here's the issue, though, right, Castro? People want the get rich quick scheme. That's all that they want to do a little bit of work and get a lot of money, and that's what they see the tech industry as. They don't want to get a lot of money by doing a lot of work. They'd rather phone it in. And
easy come, easy go.
Yeah, exactly.